Check, check, check. 1, 2, 2.
Do you think we can use it?
Rascal. Okay.
See how it sounds first.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay, so,
Put it around now. Put it in the center. Like
Oh.
right here.
aren't you smart? Okay. Here, like, that's right. That's why you heard me. Okay, now it's not supposed to touch fabric, is it right? I don't
It's
know.
got a nice little windscreen on it.
Okay. So,
Let's hear it.
let's hear it. Is that it? Oh, it's okay. And then I can move this microphone, right? Unreal. He just made it even easier. No. Can y'all hear me? Okay, I'm gonna. Hey, look, I'll go. Hey, y'all. That sounds great. I don't mind doing it like this. It's a scarf. I mean, I don't mind having it like that. What do you think? What?
We'll take this one out of the way.
Okay.
But it'll be close by in case you want it.
Something happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we haven't tested that microphone.
Oh, what do you think? Do you think we ought to risk it?
Now, we got some other speakers will come up there. Can you pick that thing up and use it?
Yeah. I can just mute it. I can just mute it.
I don't know if we need to get complicated.
It's a mute button.
It's the mute button. If it's not complicated for y'all. Okay, so John will come up, Matt comes up first, and then they'll just press the mute button off.
No, I'll do it from the board.
Oh, he'll do it from the board.
Yeah.
Hey, John, he's going to take the mute off
And if your mic
himself.
starts messing up, I'm going to mute your mic and you'll have to go through the board.
I like it. Yeah. He knows what to expect. Okay, so now do I not need to worry at all now? Now I can look around and I don't have anything to worry about? Y'all can hear me, right? Ha! Well, this is the ticket. Okay. Okay, can you hear me? All right. All right. Hey, you can hear me. This is good. Okay. Okay. everybody. It's wonderful to see everybody here in person, but everyone that is streaming, I'm so excited that you have gotten on. I am Pollyanna Brannan, founder and executive director of Women's Health Services, Inc., and I'm accompanied today with our board chair, John Berardi, his wonderful wife, Janice, and our medical director is Dr. Matt Phillips, but he is an OBGYN and probably delivering a baby because he's not here right now. But he will oversee all the medical practices. And Natalie Gilbert. And then, these four people are very important to our mission. It is Jack and Terry Rubio, Linda and Kevin Bazilia. And later, you will hear from Terry sharing why, because they will have a major impact on the effectiveness of our mission. Women's Health Services, Inc. is a nonprofit organization that provides mobile ultrasound medical clinic services. And a mobile medical clinic is a custom-built vehicle that is built and designed to medical clinic specifications, and it allows our trained staff and our medical staff to go to unserved and underserved areas and provide women with ultrasounds, pregnancy tests, and support resources. A pioneer in the mobile ultrasound medical clinic industry is Sylvia Slifko. And she used to be an executive director of a pregnancy center like I was in Auburn at Women's Hope Medical Clinic. And 14 years ago, she realized that there were women that would not go through the doors of her pregnancy center. And so this fireball, I met her, she's wonderful. She went and got an RV, built it out like a medical clinic, and she went to the women. And so she went to areas surrounding where she lived, found out the counties that had the highest abortion rate per capita. And then she went to the doors of abortion clinics to talk to women. And then she partnered with pregnancy centers. And the way she did that was when someone did choose life, she would take them back to the pregnancy center that was closest to where they lived so that they would have someone nurture them through that pregnancy. Women are often drawn to abortion clinics through fear and pressure. And we know we never make our best decisions when we're under fear and pressure. Decisions that are made without all the information are another way that we make our worst mistakes. And so it's important. We feel it's our duty to take information to these women when they're under pressure. And the reason is 89% of women consider an abortion decide to parent after seeing an ultrasound. And so if 9 out of 10 women that originally were thinking about terminating their pregnancy after seeing an ultrasound decide to parent, that is critical information. And so in any other area of our life, if we were making a serious, permanent life decision, we would want all the information. And so if we didn't have it, and then years later we find out, oh, these people that had this information I didn't have, 9 out of 10 of them did the same thing, and it was different than what I did, I would feel cheated. I would feel like I need it. So that's why we feel it is our duty to go to women and provide them with an ultrasound. I will never forget Sam that was at the Columbus Abortion Clinic with me. I've been trained to do sidewalk advocacy, and I go once a week and talk to the women and as they're going in. And Sam shared with me that when she had an abortion, that years later, and I found this to be common with people that I am friends with and people I've met in the last 8 or 9 years, that after they have a baby, they see an ultrasound. And she said, once I saw that ultrasound, I fully understood. And the devastation that happens with that, when there's no going back, and it's such a permanent decision and you can't go back, is the most devastating thing that happens. And it happens often. And so when I worked at Women's Hope, Caitlin Willing, that was over the client services, she would have the students come in and they would be petrified to tell their parents. And so they felt forced, that they really didn't have a choice. They knew that's what they needed to do. And so she would share. I felt the exact same way. I was so scared to tell my parents, but I did. But then when I did, they told me to have an abortion. And so I ended up having my baby, and she would just look them in the eyes and go, and you know what? They love Hudson more than anything. And they don't want me to ever bring it up, because they can't even fathom the thought that they actually thought that was best. And so it's so interesting when you watch someone, when she was talking to them and sharing that. So I share that now on the sidewalk when the students are coming in. And I just share it. And it just kind of helps them see over that hump of something that they couldn't even imagine. And there's nothing like talking to someone that's already been through something that you're about to go through. It just makes the fear melt away. And then you have clarity and you can think. And so uniquely and most importantly, Women's Health Services will always have someone on the mobile medical clinic that has either had an abortion or had a very close loved one that they have gone through that with them. And it's so that they can speak from experience, and that way that, because they're the ones that can empathize the best. And so I want to, at this time, introduce Terry Rubio here, where she is going to share with you a little bit of what she has seen, because she leads healing groups, and she's done it for 7 years. So has Linda. And the two men talk to men all the time, and they have a support group. And so I'm going to flip that so Terry can share with you.
Hey everybody, I'm really excited to be here tonight and just share my heart with you. I'm married to Jack, my wonderful husband, and Kevin and Linda and Jack and I all have a heart for those who have been hurt by abortion.
Get out of your way.
Jack and I have been married for 39 years, and we have 4 children, 2 who live in Birmingham and 2 who live in heaven. We also have 3 amazing grandchildren. I want us to take a minute and look at the bus. Just 15 seconds. Just look at the bus and ask God to allow us to see what He sees. I would venture to say that most of us see a large vehicle, a bus with 6 wheels and a lot of expensive equipment inside, and a beautiful and colorful logo on the outside. I see that as well, but what I see more deeply than that is hope. I see the power of truth for women whose hearts and minds are deceived by the enemy. You see, Jack and I, as well as Linda and Kevin, are post-abortive couples. Women who schedule an abortion are desperate, and they are deceived. They are lied to by many people, including the staff at the abortion clinic. I was lied to. I asked about counseling before the abortion, and they assured me I would receive some. Well, it consisted of asking me if I was sure I wanted to end my pregnancy. telling me it was a blob of tissue, lie, but being sure I couldn't see the ultrasound, assuring me that it wouldn't take long and I wouldn't feel a thing, another lie. I was told not to have sex for 6 weeks, and I was told that once it was over, everything would be just fine and I wouldn't have to think about it again. Big, big lie. Desperate women will believe the lies. Most women who have had abortions experience post-traumatic syndrome. I've experienced it as a result of the abortion I had in November of 1981 at the very abortion clinic in Columbus, Georgia, that Women's Health Services plans to do ministry at. A majority of post-abortive women experience some level of post-traumatic syndrome. The depth of mental and emotional trauma can be debilitating to these women. Many have dealt with addiction in some way. Sitting in a room giving my testimony at a women's recovery center, there were 5 out of 8 women who had had abortions and felt like it was a huge reason they had become addicts. We know the level of trauma women have experienced because we have heard it for the past 7 years from women who have attended a post-abortive healing group that I have led, and Linda has heard it from many more in the healing group she has led over the past 7 years in this area. The 4 of us have all dealt with the trauma and pain of abortion, the depths of depression that kept us from being able to function on a day-to-day basis, the need to numb the thoughts and the hurt and the pain with alcohol, ignoring our spouses and children's needs because of the need to make our own selves worthy through our jobs or through serving, the knockdown dragouts we experience in our marriages, and the emotional isolation from our spouses, the threats of divorce. These are just a few of the traumatic side effects of our abortions. Linda and I, and the many women we have led through healing, will do anything we can to help Women's Health Services have women on the mobile medical clinic to speak from experience, but not to force anyone. We solely want them to know we are there for them. We want them to know we have been where they are and are willing to listen to them talk through what has brought them to consider abortion in case they can find a way to avoid the trauma and pain that we know many others have experienced. Women will make their own decision, but need to make a well-informed decision, just like we do in all other areas of our lives. They need to be aware of the trauma and pain they will most likely experience in the coming hours, weeks, months, years, or decades. These uninformed decisions result in emotional and mental devastation. The young girl who was witnessed walking nonchalantly into the abortion clinic, all smiles and laughing, and walking out later devastated and weeping uncontrollably. The young lady who had been curled up in a fetal position for days and could not get out of bed because of the PTSD she was experiencing years after her abortion. The sweet young lady who sought healing but was secretly an alcoholic and ended up in a recovery facility for 4 months. The woman who was sitting in my group proclaiming that she was okay for about 3 weeks and then literally having an emotional meltdown, screaming and spewing her anger at all involved in her abortion, including herself. And the precious 79-year-old woman on her deathbed, confessing she had an abortion and in such turmoil about her eternity. The countless women who approach us after hearing our abortion stories and confess they've never told anyone are so burdened. I wish that bus had been sitting in the parking lot at the Columbus Abortion Center when I arrived there. I knew deep in my heart it was wrong, but I felt I had no choice. That is why I see hope and the power of truth when I look at that bus. We all know that light will dispel the darkness, and this is exactly what abortion-minded women need to experience and will have an opportunity to experience through women's health services on this mobile medical clinic. Thank you so much, Pollyanna, for allowing us to share, and thank you all so very much for being here tonight.
Linda is not here tonight, so I would like to share with you what Linda shared last night. And Linda has also led groups for 7 years, and she's like, I admire her so much because she stood up at her church of 400 women and said, I had an abortion. And how brave that was for her. But what she has done for so many women in our area is endless. People come up to her all the time and share. Well, ever since I worked at Women's Hope Medical Clinic, it seems like someone is put in my path all the time. And it's such a good thing to help and to get them to Linda, get them to Terry, you know. And Linda shared that while she was speaking, afterwards, a man came up and he shared that he went to the abortion clinic with his best friend and waited in the car with him while his girlfriend went into the abortion clinic. And he said, 6 weeks later, my best friend committed suicide. And now I know why. And so she shared about a woman that she spoke with 2 years ago about going into the abortion clinic at Columbus. And she said that 3 weeks later, she got a phone call that she was suicidal. And she has done so much research on this. We had, when we were at Women's Hope Medical Clinic, an uncle came in with his daughter that we had seen, but he had driven her to the abortion clinic, and she was suicidal. And so he brought her to us to try to help her through that. And so there was a young boy, a friend of mine called, where he was in high school, he's in 10th grade, and he tried not to go to sleep. He tried to keep the light on to keep himself from going to sleep because he was having these horrific, graphic dreams. And he said, I can't go to sleep. And what happened was his girlfriend had an abortion without telling him, and then he finds out after the fact. And so when you hear, it's the pain of both men and women. It's the pain of the friend. I didn't tell a friend not to do it. I didn't tell her to do it. And I feel responsible. Like I should have helped her. I should have offered. But until I actually worked at Women's Hope, did I understand that's really all she needed from me. If I had just said, you can do this, and we'll do it together and have a great time raising your child, you know. I just realized that. And so I've watched so many people that have hurt and the trauma and what happens in both men and women. And so that is why starting Women's Health Services has just kept coming up, and now's the time. Learning from these women and men over the years and I wanted them to speak and share to give you a little bit of what I've learned of the understanding and just the perspective of why it's so important that Women's Health Services provide the services, but more importantly, how we do it. Having women and men that are there that can speak from experience changes everything. It's a game changer. The other thing is we have a 3D and it's 4D, 3D, 4D ultrasound. Well, when we're seeing these women, a lot of times they are 5 weeks. And I want to share with you, real quick, I'm going to slide down here. I want to share. When Terry shares the part about how the abortion clinic doesn't give them all the information to make an informed decision, literally she wanted to see her ultrasound and they told her no. And so when you think about that, that has taken a choice away from her. Because see, when you know, the statistics show 89%, so 9 out of 10 women that see an ultrasound will choose to parent. So what happens is they are getting their choice taken away. So I've only done this for 2 months, and I've had 4 women tell me that they asked to see their ultrasound and they told them they couldn't. And so that's not letting them see the information, let them make their own decision. And that's what we want to do. Not only that, not telling them the truth about the information. And so for us to be able to give them the information to where they can verify their pregnancy. This lady right here, Carol Everett, is the owner of Abortion Clinic. And if you watch on Prime Video right now, it's a documentary and it's called Life After Abortion. She just openly shares that for years, to increase their revenue, they literally showed women blobs on the ultrasound that were not babies. So that they would say, they're not sonographers. I mean, you need to watch it because it's an eye-opener. We'll tell them it's just a blob of tissue. But women that are not sonographers, she says, can't tell that it's not a baby. And they're saying blob of tissue. So what's devastating about that is those women have the same PTSD and depression and everything, the same effects that Terry's sharing. And so you're starting to see why it's so important that they have someone in their corner. Like they have someone that goes that really cares. And we're not trying to force our decision, but we want to make sure they know everything and that they have somebody that they can trust. They can make their own decision. If they have the opportunity to see the ultrasound and to verify that they're pregnant. We verify the pregnancy also because 20%, which is 1 in 5 pregnancies, end in miscarriage. And so 1 in 5 chance, they only have a decision to make. For us to be able to have that ultrasound in the communities, in the area where they think that's the only place they're going, they're not going to go to a pregnancy center and discuss it with someone. And for us to be able to do that, it's already happened. Being on a mobile clinic here where our medical director, Dr. Matt Phillips, has one in Montgomery and Birmingham. And while I'm there, a 16-year-old is there, and the baby didn't have a heartbeat. But she was going to an abortion clinic. She would have never known that because this lady lets you know. They're not there to tell them that. And so I wanted to go through why we did that. And I wanted to explain, in sharing those 2 areas right there, what I just shared, a friend of mine was sharing that with her friend that is very pro-life, and he just believes that it's a woman's decision, and that's great. And he said, I'm amazed, and he's all in, because he loves that they're going to be people that are speaking from experience, not somebody that's not just trying to make them do what they want to do. He said, I didn't even realize that people in the abortion clinics are making them do what they want to do. He said, so that's not choice. And so I love that because I like that people can see that there's good in this, even if we don't have the same beliefs or anything like that. Someone asked me, is this political? And the thing is if you're providing someone with good information, let's don't go there. That's not what this is about, you know? What this is about is caring and showing people what they need and seeing and avoiding, helping them avoid something that could be very traumatic for them. So currently we are serving 3 immediate areas. Tuskegee. We found several years ago that Tuskegee had the highest abortion rate per capita of any county in the state of Alabama. And so we definitely want to go there. We're definitely going to the Columbus Abortion Clinic. A pregnancy center there has asked us to please come and park because they know the numbers will go up on people going on the clinic because it's, they feel they're just uninhibited about it because they feel like they can just get in real quick and leave. And so, and then the other area, I'm gonna let Kiki tell her story, and she tells it beautifully.
Hi everyone, my name is Kiana Stevens. I'm 29 years old. I'm from Tuskegee, Alabama, born and raised. I now reside in Opelika, Alabama. I'm a daycare worker. I've been teaching 13 years. I have a son, he's 5, his name is Carter. He's beautiful, he's handsome, he's terrific, he's wonderful. I just love Carter. So, on my birthday, which was August the 3rd, I found out I was pregnant. It was kind of hard, it was kind of rough, it was kind of shaky, I was nervous. I just freaked out all about it. But on August the 4th, I was outside on my lunch break, just sitting and just looking up to the sky, asking God, praying, what should I do? So I called Women's Hope in Auburn, Alabama, and asked, could I come in and do a ultrasound, or could I come in and see was I really pregnant? They gave me appointments. I'm just very emotional. I was just going through this phase. I just, once again, didn't know what to do, didn't know how to control, didn't know where I was going to get the next help from. The dad, he was just nagging. He wasn't ready. And it just got very scared. All the negativity, I'm like, the dad, he's just telling me, just go ahead, get the abortion. I'm not ready for no child. I called my mom and tried to turn to her. She's like, you don't need a baby by him. So I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. So that Saturday morning, my brother and I got up and he took me to the abortion clinic. I was scared, nervous. It was just very overwhelmed. I just didn't want to accept a second child. And tears just began to roll down my face. And I was praying and I was crying. And the time has clicked and it was time for me to go in. And I'm just crying. And the lady comes over and she was like, sign these papers. She was really kind of attituded. But me not thinking, I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm just ready. And I signed my papers, and as I'm just reading and signing away, they call me into this office. And I gets there. So the steps was, if you didn't have the correct amount of money, they had like 2 programs that you can call to get help. So one of the programs didn't give me all of the money. However, I sprung out of that place so fast, I just got overwhelmed. I just lived like, I'm still crying, I'm like, oh my God, what should I do now? The lady came back to the car and she was like, we was praying for you, and we was praying. And she said, well, do you mind if I speak with you? And I was like, no. And but told her my location, and she was like, well, I know this lady from Auburn, and she's here, and you can talk with her and let her know about your situation. And so I began to speak with the lady, and we met and we greeted, and she just hugged me and just welcomed me in open arms. Like, I just thank her, and she was just so nice, and they was some nice people. And I just thank God for having her in my life to this day. She just been right there beside me, and I just told her my situation, and she just said I don't have to worry about it. And Miss Pollyanna, me and her, we contacted, and she was like, hey, I can probably get your appointment changed to that Monday from that Wednesday. I was like, sure, I'm all for it, I'll wait. And she calls Women Hope, and she was able to get me an appointment so that I could see and know if I was pregnant or to see my ultrasound. And when I did get to see the ultrasound, I was so excited. I just didn't have a clue what I was about to do to myself, to my family, to the dad, even to my 5-year-old son Carter. He's just so in love now. And he already named them. And I think if you get a mobile ultrasound, that will help the community, that will help the state, that will help tremendously. That will really help a lot. It will help a lot of teen moms. Because, I mean, many people don't have transportation. Like myself, we visual. We just need that chance. We need that moment to see those things. We have to see. But if we doesn't see it, then we don't know. We have no clue what we're doing to these precious kids and precious babies, and destroying families and destroying just lives. Now that I'm 16 weeks, I'm glad. I thank God for my baby son. And now he's here, and I'm going to take care of him the best of my ability. And I just thank God for just being there by my side and just helping me through these steps in the process. I thank Women's Hope. I thank Dr. Addison. I just thank Miss Pollyanna. She's just so sweet, and Lord, just thank you for putting her inside my life, inside my heart, inside my family. Like, she's just like a second mom to me. I just thank God.
Kiki is the blessing. She's my blessing. She was the very first person I met when I was at the abortion clinic, and I'd been trained to talk to people, but I had shadowed people that were doing it, and then this was the first day. And what a blessing. She was from Opelika, right there at Auburn where I live. And I was able to get her to go back to the pregnancy center and get the ultrasound. And so now what's beautiful is that's how the third area that we serve is we partner with pregnancy centers. So even if she was 2 hours away, I would link her up with the pregnancy center there and get them to be able to walk alongside her. And so it happened again just a week and a half ago. We had a woman that was from Opelika again, and she went in. She did take the abortion chemical pill, but when she came out, see, we're there for them when they come out. We make sure that when they come out, they know we're there for them, and we make sure we put in their hand a way to contact the people that we're showing you that are helping through healing. So please don't be alone in this. Call anytime. You know, you can talk to people that have been through this. Just don't be alone. And then we give them a card that says, if you regret this at any moment, I just say in the next 24 hours, you have 70% chance. We have 2 healthy babies right now, because someone decided they wanted to reverse it. So they take a reversal pill, and it stops it. And so I called the medical director over at Women's Hope and said, well, we did it again. It's another baby. And the reversal pill did it again. And so he was so excited because he could take over the care for her right there. And so he is seeing her once a week, because you have to take special care with that. And then she went through the Family Life Center at Women's Hope so that she could learn how to do Earn While You Learn, get parenting classes, get the clothes that she needs, get anything that you need for the child. They make it available at the pregnancy center. And so no one really explains it better than our medical director, Dr. Matt Phillips. So I'm going to have Matt come up and share, please.
Yeah, y'all can hear me.
Hey, Matt, we're streaming, so we're going, we are.
In 19 1993, a blizzard hit Birmingham. And I don't know if any of y'all remember the blizzard of 93. I remember because there was 18 inches of snow in front of my apartment. And there's a true story of a woman who had the unfortunate situation happen where her water broke during the blizzard of 93. So she was stuck on top of Red Mountain. Every street in Birmingham was iced over. It was in a significant blizzard, and she began to get worried as her contraction pains got closer and closer together. And she was particularly worried because her husband, though a very successful accountant, was only an accountant. And so she was stuck on top of Red Mountain with her husband, the accountant, and she began to get really worried about it. And the ambulances couldn't get to her. She called her OB. This is a true story. And he said, hey, you wait right there. I just bought a brand new military-grade Humvee. This was back when the Humvees came available to private citizens. So he got in his Humvee, made it through all kinds of barriers in Birmingham, went to the top of Red Mountain, rescued her baby, and the accountant, and brought all of them to Brookwood, where he delivered the baby. It was one of the coolest stories that I'd seen, and it was one of the things that led me to want to do OB. I just thought it was so cool. And so for the last however many years that's been, 27 years, I've been trying to convince my wife that I need a Humvee in case something like that would happen. And that's a very hard sell to a very frugal woman who I married. And I can't talk her into the fact that I need a Humvee, but it is very easy to talk y'all into the fact that we need that. We have a mobile unit here in Montgomery. We've seen almost 3,000 women. It really is 89.1% of women will decide to parent if they just see their baby. And it's my vision, and Pollyanna's as well, that we should have a mobile unit in front of every abortion clinic in America. And Columbus is incredibly active. They're a very busy abortion clinic, and we need one. But what's cool about it, and the reason I tell you the Humvee story, that really is a very effective ambulance. All right, the hospital is the pregnancy centers. We only have the girl usually about 40 minutes. Now, we do a good job following up, and we'll follow up with women. We call and we touch base. But every time a woman changes her mind on the back of that bus, we then get her connected with a pregnancy center because we can't survive without them. You would never think that a city just needed a fleet of ambulances and no hospital. But then again, if we need ambulances, because when that woman's making that decision right at the moment of crisis, right in front of an abortion clinic, if she's there right then, because that's the girl we're missing. That's the girl that the pregnancy centers are missing, that girl that is hardcore, I'm going to abort. We need to be there for her then. And it's my vision that no one would ever choose an abortion without having a chance to walk past one of our buses. And so that's an easy sell. So if you want to get involved, that's the ambulance. And the pregnancy center is the hospital. All right.
Now I would like for you to hear from John Verardi. He's our board chair, and I just want you to hear his purpose and why he's even a part of this.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. It was back in the spring, and we had COVID lockdown and all that stuff, and had a lot of time to think and everything. And I'm 74 years old, so I kind of get to thinking about the end. I've got an expiration date on me. I don't know when it is, but I could very well be in the fourth quarter of my life, and some mornings I wake up, I feel like I'm in overtime. So I've been thinking about a legacy, but I said, well, if I'm going to start using one of them big words, I better make sure I know what a legacy is. So I looked it up in the Webster's dictionary, and it said something transmitted or received from an ancestor or a predecessor or from the past. And it'd be kind of something like money, lands, a watch or ring, keepsake, a business handed down. And then I got to thinking, I said, I've really had one given to me already. And the guy that led me to the Lord, he actually lived out how to live the Christian life on a daily basis. And I'm still a work in progress, is that the right thing? But I'm still working on that. But boy, I was so fortunate for that. So as I've looked back on my life, I've seen that I've wasted a lot of time and money on things that don't count, that don't mean anything, that's gone, really, most of it. So I want to spend the rest of my time here on this earth doing some things that matter. And what you see here, getting involved with women's health services, we're dealing with life and death matters every day. Life and death matters every day. And when Pollyanna called me and told me what God had put on her heart, I said, sign me up. I'm ready, because that's something that's going to last. So to be able to help save an expectant mother from terminating her pregnancy and have that child is a worthwhile investment of my time and money. And she won't be, that mother will not be a slave to that guilt and everything that Terry and Linda have experienced. And the mothers that go through these abortions, they spend much of their life, kind of like when you're driving the car over here, most of us, we're looking out the front windshield there, we glance up at that rear view mirror. A lot of the women that have been through abortion and hadn't got healing from it, they drive looking at that rear view mirror, always looking in the past, always looking back at that day, at what happened at the abortion clinic. And take a look out the front at life ahead of them very rarely. So we can make a difference in their life. And then I'll close with this, is that think about giving that child an opportunity for life. Now, who knows? That child could be a Tim Tebow. Everybody's probably familiar with Tim Tebow. His mom was advised to abort him. But the experts are wrong a lot of times, aren't they? Or he could be a Billy Graham, or maybe Mother Teresa. Who knows? So it's a great ministry. Appreciate y'all being here. Appreciate your interest. Thank you.
The people that are involved, just so special, and just us doing this has meant so much, doing it together. Because I'm going to see if I can get that video moving on that one there. But you hear different reasons why people are wanting to be a part of it. And I'm amazed at all the different reasons why it means something to somebody. And, you know, I guess the one that I love that someone can see that we are giving the women the choice and that we respect that it's their choice. But then we know that they're being robbed of information. And so to be able to give it to them so that they can make an informed decision, I love that. And then when he says he's in the fourth quarter, probably in overtime, you know, right now I just know none of us really know when that is. We could all be in the fourth quarter. And so it does change something when you're doing something that's a purpose and you know that it matters. And so I just, that's why when we think about this, one decision, just one, it impacts generations. And so if changing minds and changing lives and impacting generations stirs something in you, and it's something that you think, well, I want to be a part of it. So if you do, I put envelopes right there, and I'd love for you to pull them out because I want you to read through it real quick. On the first envelope, right here, it's launch your legacy. And so if you want to be a part of this, I'd love for you to look at how could you do that. And there are two ways that we're doing this. And one is we need to buy the mobile ultrasound medical clinic. That's first and foremost. And so to make a significant one-time donation, and like a stretch donation, like put your footprint on it. Like know that that is going because you made it happen, you know? And so I thought, well, it might be good to just let you know exactly what it is that we need and what are the numbers that we have. The actual mobile unit is $180,000. And on there, you will see that it says we need a $50,000 down payment right now. Well, the good news is we have right at half of that already donated. So you can mark through that number. Everybody has their own PIN. We're COVID friendly. Stuck that in there. And so we just need half of that. The mobile ultrasound, the ultrasound machine is $42,000. You know, we're having the top of the line, making sure that they can see every crevice, every detail of that child. Well, a men's group called Knights of Columbus has donated the machine, and so really all we have left, and we had a donation toward it on Tuesday. So really right now we have 2,800 left to go toward training the staff that will use it. And so we've made those changes. It may be that you think that that the operations of the first year, I mean, it's $176,000 for the first year. Another is computers. We need laptops because on the mobile unit, you gotta have laptops. And then the computer program. And so that's $9,200. And I put on here a pledge because sometimes so many people just want to have like 30, 60 days to do whatever it is that they want to for that one time. And so if you want to do that, check it. I had a person asking me 3 weeks ago about putting it in his estate. If you want to do that and you want me to call you, just check it and I'll give you a call. Or if you just want me to call you, talk about it. Whatever it is that you are wanting to do. And the other part, the other way that you can be a part of this, and to me this is the part that I just love, is something monthly, like thinking, what could I do just a little monthly? And it doesn't matter if it's $10, you know, but then you know that every month you're a part of what is happening every day, and we'll give you updates on what's happening. And so when you get up in the morning and you think about, well, I'm not worth anything today, I'm not gonna do anything. You can think, oh yes, I am. I'm changing lives and impacting generations. I'm actually out there doing something. So to me, I love that because you know that you're always a part of something that's truly making a difference. And so if you wanna go online to donate, whsmobile.com. You can do that anytime. That is our website. And then if you will, if you complete that, right now, okay, the lady that I showed you earlier named Sylvia Slifko that started this, she now has an organization called ICU Mobile. And ICU Mobile said that we qualified for a matching grant of $50,000. So every dollar up to $50,000. So as soon as we get to 50, we actually are gonna have 100. So I was like, double your impact. So if that $100 is 200, right? If 1,000 is 2,005. So I was so excited that she was doing this. I met her and got the privilege of talking to her for 2.5 hours and just watching what has happened over the years. And then we can do that right here. On the other side, I would love for you, of course, give us your name and address and that kind of thing. But at the top, will you please fill out the top where it says, what about Women's Health Services mission and what you've learned through this right here? What's meant the most? It would mean so much to us here to know that. And then down at the bottom, I would love for you to look at the different ways you can volunteer. If you are a nurse and wanting to be a sonographer, you can be trained to do that. If you are a sonographer, to do the ultrasounds, we would love volunteers for that. A patient advocate, it would be the person that would be talking to the women when they come on, or a man that could be talking to the man that comes with the woman. Someone asked me about, can I help with the fundraising? I'm like, are you kidding? Of course. So I put on there a fundraising committee, right? And so you can check to help with that. That person said they're gonna tell everybody they know. So, and then the pit crew, okay. if somebody wants to be a part of the pit crew, which would be the one to get the mobile medical clinic and take it and make sure the tires are okay, make sure it's got the oil and do those things, they're on the pit crew. And so I'm loving the pit crew. Anybody wants to volunteer for that. And then administrative. If it is, I've got 2 hours a week to help with entering anything that's administrative, that somebody wants to volunteer, that would be wonderful. So please, please do that. Another thing I want to make sure that before we go, I point out, it's real important to us. It's important that if you are already supporting a pregnancy center or another organization that is supporting women in unplanned pregnancies, in no way do we want you to stop or even reduce what you're doing just so you can then donate to Women's Health Services. Women's Health Services is something that you decide, do I want to do something in addition to that? Because like Sylvia Slivko that went out and got the RV and built it out and went to the places, it's not like when she got her mobile medical clinic, she went and closed her pregnancy center. You know, it takes all of us working together to make the biggest impact. And so I think it's very important that we make sure we always make you think through that. I'm so excited that y'all are here tonight and to be a part of this. I hope that what you've learned, that you've gotten a little bit of a window into learning really the pain that most people don't know, and knowing it makes you want to get out here with us and just fight on the front lines for women and for men and for families. And what an honorable legacy to leave behind. Thank you.